cheering, baby, for live.
Cheers.
Inside, Moten need another drink. Hold on. Moten say you good.
I say they good.
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Oh, you good, boy? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Live inside the den.
Yes.
Got a great special friend guest. I'm a fan of this guy. Lawrence, I ain't gonna say his middle name. I saw that joint today. The third. Lawrence.
Yeah. He said it's Edward. Lawrence Edward Moten the third. Royalty.
Lawrence Edward Moten. Little Sam, Poetry and Moten, third. I don't want to piss no grandfather on, nobody in the generation. When you got three, that means it's four. Because third is, after the original. So, special props, man. Second all-time lead scorer in the Big East, man. Held that record for almost 20 years. 25 years out of Archbishop Carroll High School. Two-sport, all metropolitan.
Let's go ahead and say
Go find somebody, do your history, and find somebody that was a two-sport, all metropolitan.
Let's go ahead and say the greatest athlete that ever came out of Washington, D.C.
You get an argument for me. Live in the den, poetry in motion. Before we get to that, where did poetry come from? Before you start.
Where did Sam come from?
No, Sam was when it was.
Sam don't have nothing to do with
before we get to, it was some dudes on my line today, right?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna. One joker was like, man, I used to give Sam the business and ask Sam about. I said, man, I ain't gonna ask him. I said, because if he don't remember, it ain't gonna look good for you.
Oh, okay.
It ain't gonna be good for you.
Absolutely.
Ain't gonna be healthy for you. He said, no, we had section ball. Sam was in the 7th. I said, the 7th? Fucking 7th grade? I said, no, I'm definitely not gonna ask him about that. I definitely ain't gonna ask him about that. He told me, yeah, no, I gave him, yeah, okay. You gave Sam the business in the 7th grade, and he said he was in the 9th. Oh, good. So, little something more poetry did you pay? And you talk about how you come up through it. Because you was a two-sport star and you had to make a decision.
Yeah.
All metropolitan in two sports.
Yeah.
Talk about it, man.
Absolutely,
Take us through it.
Absolutely. First of all, blessed to be all met in both sports. And let's get this clear. And he ain't wrong. Only play in DC, Maryland, Virginia to make all met my junior and senior year.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people might have did it their senior year, but never their junior and senior
Two
year.
sports.
Took a lot of hard work and dedication, man. Blessed I had a strong family, but I was big on just the will to work hard, and what you put in is what you're going to get out of this game. So just thankful for the people that I had around me to keep me pushing to do the right thing.
How were you allowed to play two sports in college? Because somebody had to, the basketball coach had to say, hey, football coach had to say, hey, pick your poison. Were you in love with basketball? Okay with football? When you all met in both, you had to love both to be all met.
Yeah, it was more like a seesaw, man. When football season was here, I was all into football, and then basketball season came around, I was all into basketball,
Either one of them say, hey, Lawrence, you gotta pick one.
Nope. None of them said I pretty much had to pick one until I got to college. But high school, it was pretty much, just do what you do, and play the game and love the game, and I did that, man.
So when you left Carroll, you knew football was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I got to Syracuse, and Coach Boeheim, being as I got a basketball scholarship. Yeah. Made sense for a 17-year-old kid, and then Coach Boeheim said one thing. He said, Lawrence, more money in basketball, less injury. And at the time, it made a lot of sense. But ain't no question in my mind, I would have made the NFL too.
But you got to keep your options open. So Boeheim took away one of those options.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, back then, shit, niggas trying to feed their families.
You absolutely right, man. You
So
know,
when did you come to decide one over the other?
I came to the decision my freshman year when I got a chance to. Agent Autry went down, who's now the head coach.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, congratulations, Double A. But he had went down with an ankle injury, and the day before, Coach Boeheim told me I'll be starting. This is a big game.
Oh, so you all met and they wasn't starting at
One star.
Third game.
Yeah,
We got after the second game.
absolutely. Third or fourth game, you know, Coach Boeheim gave me that starting position, and I remember it was like it was yesterday, Miles. His first TV game too, ACC Big East Challenge.
Wow.
Against your man, Sam Cassell,
I am.
Bob Sir,
And sir,
yeah, and Doug Edwards. That's Florida State,
nice
ACC Big East Challenge. And we going down to Atlanta to play them at the Omni in Atlanta. And I walk in the locker room and I see my name as the starter. And Coach
nobody
Boeheim,
told you nothing.
Nobody told me nothing, man. So as a starter, you know, you see your name on the list, and Boeheim give you about 10, 15 minutes to, you know, get your mind together. Process everything. So, you know, I processed everything, but I left the locker room. I left the locker room and I went looking for a payphone.
You thought they were bullshitting?
Yeah, I went looking for a payphone.
You call your mother. And mama told me, I can tell you what
I called my mother, man. Collect.
Yes,
Let's get that shit. I called collect back in the day. Now I'm in the locker room. Like in the channel.
You have a collect call.
You got a collect call. You know what I tell Miles, you know what I tell my
she
mom?
didn't know what the fuck that call was about.
I say, Mom, I'm starting. My mama screamed so loud, may she rest in peace. And I never get one thing she said to me was, baby, let me tell you one thing. I say, talk to me, Mom, what you gotta tell me? She said, don't give it back.
That's right.
That's strong.
And the rest is history. It became an all-time leading scorer in Syracuse and Big East history, man.
You didn't let her down from the words that she gave you.
Talk about your Carl, because Carl had some good dudes come through.
Absolutely. We had some great guys. Marvin Graves. Marvin Graves was my teammate. Only player in Syracuse history to get MVP in 3 straight bowl games. You know, the original number 5. A lot of people want to talk about Donovan and Nab, but I'm going to say a lot about my man Marvin Graves, and he's the reason why I actually came to Syracuse. A lot of people don't know I signed already the couple of days before with Maryland University.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Carl, you all met football, all met basketball. The letters had to be this fucking high.
Oh, absolutely. I had a chest. I had a Redskins chest full of letters. It was an actual Redskins chest full of letters, and one of the letters that impressed me the most, Miles, was I got a letter from the Seattle Mariners.
Wow.
And I never played baseball. Never played baseball a day in my life. And that's one of the letters that I will always remember getting from the Seattle Mariners. They wanted to see me come to run the 40-yard dash, had me throw a couple of baseballs, and I never played baseball in my life.
So I'm a hometown guy. So you at Carl, 2 sports star. Who recruiting you? You got I'm a Georgetown fan, Maryland fan.
Yeah.
GW and all them was secondary.
Yeah.
Georgetown, Maryland were my teams.
Absolutely.
Did letters come from those two?
Absolutely. Georgetown and Maryland for sure. I took all my 6 of my visits.
Back then?
Yep, and with Bob Wade too. And what happened was during that Lynn By situation and all that happened, Bob Wade was going through a lot of issues, so they had fired him. And they hired Gary Williams.
Right.
So Gary Williams was the guy that recruited me. So all my 6 visits, Maryland University, Georgetown, Notre Dame, North Carolina, Michigan, and Syracuse.
Those are all Power 5s. All Power 5 monsters.
And as a elder now, a young elder, I'm here to tell the young fellas, take the visits. Take all your visits to get to see not only the university, but the city, and that's what blessed me with going to Syracuse. My mother told me one thing. She told me just don't stay on the town.
Right.
You know, up on the university, get to know the people in the town.
Okay.
And I was blessed to do that. That's why I still get love to this day from the Syracuse community, and that's why I'm back there living.
So how did you visit at Georgetown go?
Georgetown was okay. You know, it's funny. It's a funny situation. Funny situation, Miles. You know, I get a call from my high school coach, Carol Holmes. I love you, Carol. And one of the things he said was, I'm gonna drop you off, but make sure you tell him if John Thompson asks you, let him know you caught the bus. So I'm like, what you mean, coach? What you mean, Carol? What you want me? Why you want me to tell him that? He said, because John Thompson's the type of guy, he want to see a young fella can do something on his own, you know, at that time. So I get to Georgetown, I take my visit, and I was dropped off by Carol Holmes. It's now out there. And I actually meet John Thompson, and he comes up to me, and the first greeting, may you rest in peace, John, much love, Carol graduate, Caroline, former number 21, I wore the number, your number, I give that to you, your number 21.
Absolutely.
But the first thing he,
coach,
absolutely. First thing coach said was, hey boy. And I think about it, my grandfather didn't call me boy, you know, and I've never been called boy before, besides John Thompson. So, you know, I respected John. John had a lot of love for the city of DC, but not only the city, just the whole college family. He was royalty. So I actually shook his hand, and he actually walked out of his office, and I didn't see him again. And it was kind of weird to me. So Mariana Freeman, the assistant coach, female coach there, or academic advisor, asked me, Lawrence, do you mind if we test you and give you the head test? Me being a 17-year-old guy, I'm like, what's going on? I'm thinking I'm gonna come to visit. You gonna have my name in the arena with 21 more, you know, welcome. Nothing like that, you know. So I take the test, being courteous. I take the test, you know, and answered all the questions. But in my head, you know, I was never coming to Georgetown.
Tell them about the hear test.
It was a wrap. So yeah, I'm taking the hear test. He asked you 2 different ways of spelling the word here, H-E-A-R and H-E-R-E. So they give a little sentence, and you got to put it in the right one. I did that. In the process, I'm already in my head. I'm done.
SAT test.
17 years old. I'm coming to visit.
I'm coming to play some motherfucking basketball.
I want some Georgetown gear. Can I get some gear? Can I get some gear? You know, all that. I don't get money. I get the Georgetown. I'm like, what's going on? So, you know, I take the test. Courteous, it is what it is. I take my visit. I realized that, you know, Georgetown was not the school for me. Much respect. But I'm in Syracuse at the time. I'm playing in Syracuse in my junior year, and I'm reading the paper, USA Today, at the airport, and I read an article, and it said Grant Hill decides not to go to Georgetown because of the head test.
God.
And I felt weird, but I felt good because I felt like I wasn't the only one they did it to. At that time, I felt like I was the only one they actually did it to.
So you had to be thinking, what the fuck does
so,
here gotta do with scoring,
putting the ball in the bucket. So for a lot of you Georgetown fans, I know I hate for you to hear this, but Grant Hill wanted to come to Georgetown, and he didn't want to go to Duke. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
So you said you signed with Maryland.
Yes.
So you obviously decommitted. Why?
Well, I had signed with Maryland before Syracuse. You know, I was getting a lot of good press from Maryland. You know, Gary Williams was just starting. You know, I felt it would have been a good niche with me. And a lot of people don't know, not only did I sign, Donyell Marshall signed with Maryland.
Wow.
And it was an article, I never forget it. The Washington Post had an article in the paper that said the Eminem boys going to Maryland. 2 days later, I get a call from the academic advisor, Pete Sawyer. Pete, I hope everything is good with you, man. I haven't talked to you in a while. But I talked to Pete, and he was crying on the phone. So I mean, like a death type crying. I'm like, Pete, what's going on? And he said, this is not fair. This is not fair. I'm like, Pete, what is going on? They decided not to accept you and Danielle Marshall.
Both of y'all.
Yeah, both of us, because our GPAs wasn't high enough. Now, first of all, you know, I was a solid student, 2.7. 2.7, I wanted 3. You know, I did my work.
Right.
That's one thing nobody can ever say about me. I did my work, and I always showed the teacher that I wanted to learn.
Right.
So that was big. I learned that from my mother. So, make a long story short, we decided, you know, the M&M boys declined the next day in the USA Today. Washington Post. The M&M boys declined, Moten and Marshall. So my teammate, my high school teammate, Marvin Graves, who was already the star quarterback at Syracuse, was calling me like, man, they still want you. Take a visit up here. I took a visit to Syracuse. A guy named Billy Owens, who was the godfather of my kids.
Wow.
You know,
pretty hair,
ended up taking
wavy hair.
yes. Take a visit with Billy Owens, my chaperone, man. The next day, Miles, I said, when do I sign?
Wow.
You know, had a great time there. And my high school teammate was already there, Marvin Graves.
Yeah.
Star of the football team. So everything happens for a reason. And I tell people all the time, you know, God bless me, because if I would have went to Maryland, I would have had to please so many people. And give them tickets.
A lot of pressure with that.
I went to Syracuse 5 or 6 hours away where I could stay focused on myself and what I had to do. And the rest is history.
Rookie of the year. Big East rookie.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So talking about freshman year.
Absolutely.
Talk about playing with Jim Bell.
But Boeheim, great guy, you know, different, you know, a lot of people, you know, I say, you know, always ask me, what type of guys Coach Boeheim? Boeheim's really a comedian. He gonna tell it like it is, you know. He does a lot of yelling, but I was blessed to never get yelled at. And people say, you never got yelled at. I say, when you average 20 points for 4 years,
you're not gonna get yelled at.
What are you gonna yell at? My Boeheim stories are, we come in the huddle, coach run a diagram of play, 1, 2, 3, Cuse, we out of here. He would say, Moten, come here. Like, what's up, coach? Just get a bucket, son. I don't care how you do it. That's what I remember when coach. I used to love that shit, man. Just get a bucket, son. I don't care how you do it. That's what he used to say, Miles.
The sophomore year, after making, actually freshman year, y'all won the Big East tournament.
Yes.
But that second year,
Alonzo Moten.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yes. My freshman year.
So that second year, y'all got snubbed because of some penalties.
Yes.
So what was that about? What happened?
Yeah, well, it was a situation where the guy named Conrad McCray, our center on our team. Conrad McCray, may he rest in peace, great guy. He was getting a little money under the table from the players. So they smacked us on the wrist with a probation. You know, a lot of people thought I was going to leave at the time. And I'm like, you know, averaging 20 points one freshman year.
Where you going?
Let me lay low.
Yeah.
Let me lay low. It was only a smack on the wrist. So my sophomore year, we didn't make the tournament. We ended up going to the Big East Championship, where we lost to Seton Hall after winning the Big East Championship my freshman year.
Yeah, right.
So that was it. You know, I rolled with that 1 year and moved forward and did what I had to do.
But you after you beat Lonzo Moore and them, you partnered with Georgetown and said, I'm here.
Oh yeah. You know, always, you know, nothing against my Hoya lovers. I got much love for the guys. They got on it, but I would tell my teammates, Miles, I would talk to them. It was very important when we in the huddle that I had them understand that it was mandatory that we get these guys so I could talk shit during the summer. That was summertime shit talk, man. Yeah. Absolutely. So 4-2. 4-2, my record against Georgetown the years I was there.
And the rubber in coach face.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. Coach would say to Boeheim, you stole another DC player.
Yeah.
Let's see what he gonna do. What you say to coach?
They were
rivalries. I mean, not
big time rivalries. Big time rivalries.
Didn't really care what they had.
No, they were big time rivalries. But
they came
true
to
story.
love each other.
At the end, true story. You know, it's funny you say that. The rivalry, they were very big time rivals, and you know. They were, because they were the same.
Right.
They was the same, and they were passionate about their university. But it's funny, when I finished playing at Syracuse, I ended up taking my daughters to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8 that was at the Verizon Center, which is now Capital One.
Right.
They play Indiana. So I ended up going to the game, and I seen John Thompson. And John pulled me to the side, and I introduced him to my daughters. And I never get it,
I
made
know
me so
he was
proud.
so funny
He met my daughters and he said, girls, he said, come here, girls. Let me tell you one thing about your father.
I was surprised when he said, let me tell you something about this motherfucker.
He said, motherfucker, he said, let me tell you something about your father. He looked my daughters in the eye and said, your father gave me many nightmares. and I gave Big John a hug. Yeah, and it was all love.
John was all love. All
all
first break, baby. All love.
Yeah.
Get ready to take a break, man. We'll be right back live in the den with the Big East. In my mind, all-time lead scorer. The guy that got the record. Who is the dude?
Who is the dude? Who is the dude?
Much respect to Marcus Howard.
Marcus, yeah, gotta get Marcus Howard in.
Syracuse had some. Damn, Moten, I thought you was Syracuse all-time lead scorer.
I am.